to not only my room, but the premiere episode of Year of Women web series I'm trying to start. My name is Kris Torres, and I wanted to kick it off with the Pride Month edition of Year of Women. Happy Pride. I hope y'all enjoy.
It was 8th grade because I had a crush on a dude.
It's always middle school,
and then,
I feel that.
And then he reciprocated, and then that made me realize, okay, yeah, these feels are real.
I want to say like high school, I think.
Like from TV, or like from like who did you talk? Like how did you find the information? Because nobody tells us in like sex ed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I think like just sort of being around people and like actually like in high school, people started to come out and like
slowly
openly acknowledge it. So I think that's when I started to realize it, and then around that time was when it started becoming more popular in like TV and media and stuff. So I think that's when it like clicked.
Yeah, high school, same.
Yeah,
because like that's when like I guess we know more, and it also started popping off of social media like Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, like all of like Pride was like a thing, and I was like, oh, what's that? You know.
I remember the first time that I didn't hear the word gay, but my parents were pretty homophobic like growing up, and they would always be like, oh, when a boy and a boy kiss, like they throw up afterwards. That's basically how they described it. And they were like, when a girl and a girl kiss, they throw up too. And I never really understood what it was until I remember one time in particular, we went to Disney World, to Magic Kingdom, and Peter Pan like came out, and my parents were like, oh, like he's super twinky. It's so not cool to like show such a feminine guy in front of a little kid thinking that's okay. Like that's very gay. And I was like, it was until like I guess I was in middle school that I'd never heard of the word gay or lesbian before in my life, and it was just like a big mystery of like physical things happening to you, like throwing up and like projectile vomiting, instead of like saying like these are just feelings.
Yeah, but like for me, I realized in middle school because of a TV show, but it was like a low key. I think it was on the N at the time, like South of Nowhere. But it was something I knew I shouldn't be watching, or I felt dirty for watching, because my mom came home and the two girls were kissing on the screen, and she's like, what are you watching? And I knew that like I had scheduled times for things that I could watch when they were home and when they weren't home. Yeah. So there was like a good like 2 hours between school ending, me getting home, and them coming home, where I was like, because it was just kind of like you didn't know that you had options till you had options.
Yeah, like middle school, I was not aware of anything.
Yeah.
Like girls had a video and guys had a video.
They would be separated into different rooms, right?
Well,
or were you guys in the
it
same
was
room?
like I feel like let me think. I feel like we weren't separated. I feel like it was like we were all still in the same class, but one day it was for guys and the other day was for girls. So we all watched like each other's anatomy thing.
But you weren't in the same room as all the girls.
Oh yeah, we were.
Oh, okay.
I want to say we were, because I don't remember ever them being like, okay, guys, go over here, like, or you know. It
was integrated because it was like the class, but it was also like, they were just showing pictures of STDs. Like they weren't really.
It didn't help.
They weren't really talking about sex. Like it was funny though. Like the first thing the teacher was like, all right, say it with me, penis, and then she goes vagina. Good. And then continues, and I'm like, okay.
Okay, so that's where we're at.
But like that was a good start, and then we just get into this whole like moving images of STDs, and I'm like, where are we going now? We were on a good track. We were on a good track right there.
My sexual education class, I'm pretty sure I missed every class. And like I did not know about a lot of things in sex education until like maybe 12th grade. I remember my 6th grade like sex X class, my teacher laughed at the word condom and penis. So like that's really scary, and we never learned anything about gender identity. We never learned anything. I really didn't learn about homosexuality until maybe 9th grade. And that's way too late for a lot of people.
I don't think it should be a separate course, though. I think it should be ingrained.
Yes.
And like, I don't know where you would put it.
Facts.
I know, like, in middle school and stuff, teachers do, like, sex ed at the end of the semester and stuff. So, like, I've been telling my mom, because she's a teacher, like, talk about it. Like, bring up the subject of it. Like, everything is fluid. Because I know in college I took a gender and sexuality class, and that, like, changed everything. That's when, like, I really got, like, a bulk of my information about things beyond hetero sex ed. So, I think, like, I don't know. I think we needed like a full-ass, like, comprehensive class about it.
And the craziest thing I think of all of that is that I can't remember a single time where any of my sex ed classes, I think this went up to middle school. I don't remember ever receiving sex ed in high school. but they never once mentioned like HIV, AIDS, or any of that. I had to find out through like watching like these documentaries, like these depressing documentaries, even on HBO, because I've always been watching HBO, of this horrible epidemic that happened like late 80s, 90s, and I was like, how did I never even, like, no one's ever told me that something like that has happened.
At least, like, in elementary school, I know for sure one of my best friends was gay, but I don't think he understood what it was and, like, what that meant for him, because you get pushed this, like, very heterosexual agenda on you. You're like, oh, you're gonna marry, oh, Susie and Mike, they're 2 years old, they're gonna get married one day, and you never hear anything else than that, and you never see anything else than that, because it's confusing and it's not easy. And
people give up.
Yeah, and if it's taught in school, it's like, no, this matters. You can help kids find out who they are at a much earlier age and not have to go through that internal, like, turmoil, being like, oh god, I'm different and nobody understands me.
I don't know how they would implement this, like, because, you know, like, how are they gonna show gay sex on, like, a screen to kids?
I think they should do it.
Right? I mean, I feel like the same way.
Yo, but they already do the same shock value with STDs, though!
That's true. That's so gross.
Facts!
The whole thing.
Facts!
You can't see a clitoris.
That's
no,
true.
That's illegal.
I mean, and it could be, and it could be a way of, like, reducing that, because it's like, I feel like, especially back, like, before sex ed was really a major thing in schools, like, people were getting infected with things because, you know, they didn't know anything. They were just, they gave into their feelings, had sex, and then realized they had, oh, HIV, or like, I have this STD and I don't have health insurance. What am I gonna do?
White guys don't understand that they got all of their mannerisms from black trans men. Like, trans women, technically. Like, femme men. That's what I'm saying. Like, Marsha P. Johnson, like, and she wasn't, like, the pioneer, but she was a big face that they let, like, the case die. You know what I'm saying? And black trans women were being attacked, like, murdered, like, nobody, even in Stonewall, it felt like trans lives were at the bottom of the movement, and they were the trailblazers. They were the one. No, visibility. Look at me. Look at me.
And that's happening now. Well, like, gay people are getting a little more rights. They're getting legalization of marriage, and people are starting to accept them more. I feel like trans people are still, like, suffering, and even like bisexual people too.
I hated. Well, okay, I'm pan now, but like the bisexual, like, oh, that's cute, but like, when's the threesome? Like,
that mentality.
Can't, like, and so that's why, like, know where I'm at in, like, my radicalness, where I'm like, if I had a threesome, I wouldn't want a man in it. Like, to be honest, like, that's my, like, queerness. That's, I'm like, they don't deserve it, because so many times, like, we've been asked, it's uncomfortable, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to, like, throw shade, but it's also like, y'all are annoying! Like, that is an annoying question to get, because it's kind of like, just because I'm queer doesn't mean I'm not monogamous.
And she had said that, oh, do you think that we're more accepting towards lesbians instead of gay men, like, instead of men, because of, like, how we view men in, like, Hispanic culture? And I said, yeah, I think you guys, like, do fetishize, like, I think you guys do fetishize more, like, lesbian couples and stuff like that, but when it comes to, like, your own son being gay, I'm sure it would be, like, the world, like, would be collapsing and stuff, because, you know, your son's not gonna be, like, the same, like, macho, like, machista, like, guy that you want them to be and stuff.
I think the media's trying. Like, they're getting somewhere. They have, like, the basic stereotypes down that are, like, kind of getting there, but, like, intersectionality, that's the word you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I don't think they're there yet. They're not getting, like, the cross culture, not getting, like, enough in there. But they're getting somewhere. Like, it's significantly more than what it used to be.
Yeah, it's definitely creating a conversation. Like, a lot of people, like, it's funny when you see, like, old generations being like, oh, they didn't have gay people back then. It's like, nah, man, they were always there. It's just
they were there.
Like, now media's trying to get more of an attention on it, but, like, it's funny how, like, capitalism in itself is working in it. Like, you know, like, I'm kind of sad Pride Month is ending just because I can't buy more things. Like, it's accessible, you know, so.
Target's a trap, man.
I need to go to Target, like, today.
I think it also contributes to the fact that when, like, parents and stuff think of gay, they automatically assume, especially, at least in my case, they assume that it's, like, a super feminine male. They don't realize that there's many different dynamics of, like, personalities a person can adopt. and like they just think that like if a guy is gay, it's just a femme who takes it.
That's why with Glee, like I remember it being like one of the first I remember we actually watched that, me and my family, as a family show. Like we were doing
Glee is like a happy, good show to watch.
And it was also like when it first started, it was 1 or 2 gay people, so they weren't seeing it as like, no, more people who look differently can be gay.
Yeah.
Like when that started happening, and other shows started like showing stuff, and I would hear like comments from like ignorant parts of like my family, and it's like, oh, like I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. It's like, well, you don't have to see that. You can click, you know.
Watch.
Yeah. Like I don't understand why that's an issue. Like I don't think it's intrusive or pervasive towards children. Like we're learning about it early.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because we saw it. My dad did theater, like when he was in high school. We saw it as, oh, it's like a musical, but it's a TV show. So that's where we were at. We didn't even know what the T was.
Yeah.
And like later, I'm like, no, like even though I didn't really, mess with the puppets, how they got like they had a different ish later, but like it really did set the tone. They're even like showing later like trans in Glee. I'm like, no, that.
Right now, I really like Brooklyn's Nine-Nine. The girl with the black hair, I always forget her name, that's Argentinian. And she's bi, like in real life and in the show. So like that's super dope. Like they're doing that, And I think what's good about that is like when it comes to media and stuff like that, it's really important to not have being gay or anything like as your plot. Like you are much more than your sexuality, like 100%. And I think that's why it's being looked at very like small, like you are your whole sexuality, and it's kind of like, no, I'm not, like I'm much more than that, you're your personality and you have all these traits. And I feel like that's why people hate on it, because they see it as like something wrong with you, like a very specific thing, and like everything about you is gay, like you're just like you speak gay, you talk like you are gay, you shit gay, like it's like
you spit rainbows and like, fart dust, like you fart like glitter.
Really glad that you mentioned I Killed My Mother, because I haven't seen that movie in such a long time, but I remember I was going through, it wasn't the same, like, because the thing is that he's gay in the movie, and that's like one of the core of the issues. But another issue is that the fact that him and his mother hate each other and like cannot get along for their life, like in the moment being, and I resonated a lot to that movie because I was like, holy shit. I remember, I think in the 10th grade, my mom and I were going through like a really rough time from like 10th to like 12th grade where we just didn't get along at all. So when I watched that movie, I was like, I cried
so
too. I was
much.
like, it's like, and the part where I remember there's a part where he's like, what would you do if I died today? And she responds back like, I would die tomorrow. And I was like, like no matter what, like a mother's love.
Thank you guys for stopping by. I hope y'all liked it. I hope you learned a little something. This has been the Year of Women Pride Month edition. My name is Kris Torres, and I'll see you next time.